Hello, my name is Don Farley, and this is a presentation for my essay on Gulliver's Travel. First, I will go over my approach to writing my essay. First of all, I reread Gulliver's Travel to make sure I had all the proper information and the story was fresh in my brain. And while I was reading the essay, I started jotting down ideas for my thesis, highlighting material. So by the time I started writing and researching, I knew exactly what I was looking for. And when I began researching, it kept on adding to my ideas and to my thesis. First of all, is the story's connection to Jonathan Swift and his participation in history between England and Ireland. After I did my research and added it to my ideas, I started organizing all my ideas on a separate Word document where I could pluck from when I am typing. And when I started writing my essay, of course, there came changes in my ideas. I shifted research constantly and continually adapted my idea. And I realized after writing a little bit there were some obvious changes and issues. So I went to the writing center and looked over mostly the structure and the utilization of some of my resources. And of course, there were, again, a few issues. So after I did that, I went back to edit and review my essay, of course, and on the draft, and then I made final adjustments and showed the writing center and made sure everything looked well, and then I was done. Here I'm going to talk about my argument for my essay. Behind us is a picture of Gulliver trapped by illusions, and below is you could read my thesis statement, but I'm going to explain the what, how, and why. What? Well, I was arguing that the satire in Gulliver's Travel helped express Swift's ideas of morals, governance, and politics. And the how, well, it uses satire and exaggeration, size, species, and simplicity. And in addition, with that satire, Gulliver himself helps direct towards the right direction, or what seems to be right direction in the story, either through a good example or a bad example. Why? Well, I stated the reason why this is important because it provides historical allusions and information about the Restoration period, and not only that, it presents Swift's experiences at the time, such as the morals and themes that are expressed in the story. Here, I'll explain my research, as seen from all the books in the background. But first I want to explain my goal of my research. My goal of my research wasn't really to help explain the satire. It was more to provide outside professional opinions and statements on the essay that might help back my thesis and my argument. Of course, that came with a lot of changes in my essay of sources, and of course I have a lot of unused sources. Here are the three major sources other than Gulliver used. I used overview of Gulliver's Travel for basically historical connection. I used economics and literature and the examination of Gulliver's Travel. That was more for morals, and of course it provided more information like law, but I focused more on the morals and themes. Also, the dual focus in Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travel, that actually added a little bit more emphasis on the literature of Swift, like his pamphlets, and Ireland. The final one is Jonathan Swift and Philosophy. That was a book I used that actually showed how Gulliver was more of a model, a moral and thematical model. Of course, next I'll go over my findings behind the backdrop of Lilliput and Blefuscu map. One of the biggest things I found out was Swift's contribution in Ireland and England, mostly in Ireland's resistance against England's influence and his role in England between the Whig and the Tory party. I also found out there was a lot of allusions to events such as the Whig and the Tory party in Gulliver's Travel, including a lot of moral and law and political and government examples and ideas expressed. And it's, of course, I found it was rich with Gulliver's influence and knowledge. And of course, how I topped off my essay is it's Gulliver as a guide through all these morals and illusions. Finally, I would like to go over how my British literature class affected my idea of England and British literature. I knew about stories like Beowulf and Arthur, and I knew about Shakespeare, but I didn't know about British history's connection to its literature. Like in Beowulf, the expression of Catholic ideas and the ideas of warrior and honor and pagan ideals. And I didn't know about, like in Gulliver's Travel, the connection between Irish resistance and the Restoration period and struggle between the Whig and Tory party. I also didn't know about the evolution of English language from Old English to Early English to Middle English, and I also didn't really get how each era kind of brought new ideas like satire, and of course in like the 6th century, a lot of sonnets and plays. That'll be all. Thank you.